Hello everybody and welcome back to the xSmithyx YouTube channel, here today with me xSmithyx for another brand new video and for round number 10 of our Jgrl Esports season here on F1 2020. If you did miss the last video, do be sure to go and check that one out, uploaded a couple of days ago now. We did have a bit of a difficult time at the Spanish Grand Prix, but hopefully today we can bounce back here around Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, my home track, and one that hopefully we are going to go well at. It's a very high speed circuit, this one of the fastest on the calendar. You need a lot of high end downforce, and this is probably one of the most fun circuits to drive on the game. I think most people will agree with that. It's a very fun circuit to drive, and hopefully, like I said, we can get a good result and a bounce back result after that disappointment being taken out on lap number 1 at the Spanish Grand Prix and recovering to 5th place. While it was a good race for us, we need to try and recover from these recovery drives. We need to stop having them. We just want a nice clean weekend here, and hopefully we can come away with a win here for the British Grand Prix. But before all of that, we have qualifying here. You can see we're in Q1 at the moment, just setting. This is our second lap in the session. The first lap was a little bit scruffy, you can see down in P5, so I just wanted to make sure that we were definitely safe all the way up into P2. But you can see here, unfortunately, we did pick up a 5-place grid penalty in this session for, well, I'll be honest, I can't exactly remember, but I know it was something stupid. I can't remember what it was now because this video was filmed probably a month ago, so yeah, not ideal for the race. We are going to be starting further down the grid than really where we should be, which is definitely a little bit of a pain, but hopefully we can qualify up as high as possible to sort of minimise the damage. We definitely do not want to be starting in that mid-pack, knowing just how hectic it is. You can see already we've got at least 14 people here in this session, so it's going to be a very, very busy grid, and hopefully we won't get caught up in any accidents, but there's nothing we can do about it now. We're just going to have to get our head down and just do the best job that we can here as we go into Q2. We saw X O'Connor there, hopefully just getting out of the way as we start our flying lap. And crucially, the one that will qualify us into Q3 and give us our starting tyre for the race. Now, obviously, if you remember last season, we did 2 races around this circuit. The first time we tried the alternate strategy, starting on the medium compound tyre, and it slightly got ruined by a safety car. And we've seen this season, especially, an awful lot of safety cars, an awful lot of incidents, which, if it comes too early in the race, can kind of screw your strategy up a bit because you can't afford to pit. So what we're going to do, we are just going to go onto the soft tyre because it does give us a little bit of flexibility. If there is a safety car in the race, obviously we can just pit nice and early and stick on the hard tyre or the medium if it will go long enough. If there isn't, then we could just run our normal strategy and, you know, it's not going to be too bad. You can see a lot of people are trying the alternate strategy, but I just wasn't comfortable trying it. It really screwed us over last season, especially in the first race when we ended up actually crashing out because we didn't pit underneath a safety car. So we're not going to risk it this season. You see purple through the first 2 sectors here. A massive improvement so far on this lap. The first lap, obviously, like we've done many times, it was set on a very worn set of tyres and not using the maximum performance of the car. So not the best lap in the world. This lap is much, much better. The final sector, though, is where I was really struggling, especially compared to our main championship rival in Ranger. See, we cross the line here. It is fastest into the 125. A great lap from us there, and it was enough for us to be fastest. But you can see an awful lot of drivers here in Q2 opting to try and qualify on that medium compound tyre. We've got Ranger, we've got Chris, both Ferraris there, we've got B Dodo on the Alpha Tauri. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that strategy is going to play out during this Grand Prix, and also what it is going to do for the championship, remember, because we are in this championship battle trying to win our first championship in this league. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can manage to do that. But here we are then into Q3, a crucial Q3 session for us because we need to qualify as high up this grid as physically possible. And we go on to our final lap here, timed it very, very well, going out right at the end of the session. You can see, if you look in the top left, just how important this lap is. We're currently in P8, which will actually see us starting 13th, which is way out of position for us so far this season. So we're going to need to bang in an absolutely mega lap here as we come through the first sector towards the first sector split. Here's going to be our first indicator of how this lap is going, and it is a purple first sector, so great work through there for us, gaining an awful lot of time through here. Getting it down into second gear just helps turn that nose in just a little bit more, power out on the exit, and we get a nice exit there as we head down towards the old turn 1 now, the old pit building there on the right hand side, into what I think used to be the best turn 1 in Formula 1. Absolutely flat out in these cars in qualifying now as we head towards this incredibly high speed section. You want to keep it absolutely flat through here, down a gear into this left-hander, then just roll the car to the right, down another couple of gears and get on the throttle as soon as possible. It's so important to maximise your exit off that corner, and we are only green though, so someone has gone quicker in this middle sector. but so far we are up by a second, so this lap is a big improvement into Stowe. Nice line through there. Maybe could have carried a little bit more mid-corner speed if we'd had the turn in, but unfortunately we don't. And into the final chicane, you can see Ranger there has just gone quicker. Can we improve on that lap? We get a little bit of oversteer there, but it doesn't affect us too badly. And as we come up to the line, it is a 125.2 and just gets us pole position. That is the closest I've ever seen a qualifying. 3 cars in less than a hundredth of a second. Absolutely crazy there. And that puts us in P6 for the race. So here we go then, 2-5 red lights for the British Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. And once again, as is tradition in this series, an absolutely appalling start from us there. We're going to get jumped through here. We get a little bit of a touch there. We've got a laggy Williams flying off. That is Ranger, the championship leader. He is off the circuit. We're up into P5 now. So it's been a good little start from us here. We come into the next corner playing it a little bit safe, and we get a touch from behind. And we're round and falling down the order. I have no idea what was going on there. I don't know where Jack was planning on braking for that corner, but it's safe to say my gearbox is not a virgin anymore after that contact. Jesus, we got absolutely destroyed there. And into the next corner, Lathrain brakes about 300 metres too early. And yeah, absolutely brake checked us, and that is front wing damage. So for the second time in as many races, we have had a dramatic first lap, and we're going to have to pit. Absolute disaster. One saving grace, however, is we do get a safety car. So that is going to sort of minimise some of the loss and some of the damage that this is going to do. But we are going to have to come into the pits, and we are going to have to change that front wing, because we can't go on with this kind of front wing damage, especially around a circuit like Silverstone. It is so dependent on downforce, and if you have any kind of damage, it just costs you seconds a lap almost. So we're going to come in. Obviously you can see quite a lot of other people are having to make pit stops as well. It was quite a dramatic first lap here. Incidents up and down the field, so quite a lot of people are coming in now. People might just be pitting though for a change of tyres to try and go to the end. We are having to make a pit stop. You see the pit crew not quite ready for us, because X O'Connor also pitted on this lap, so an even slower pit stop than it already is going to be with this front wing change. And we once again at the end of the first lap find ourselves in last place. This is becoming a little bit of a habit, and not one I'm entirely happy with, if I'm honest with you. So once again, we're going to have to do a recovery drive. Like I said, the only saving grace there, you can see in the top left corner, P17, Ranger has also had a drama somewhere on the first lap. We saw him get absolutely spat out during the first corner. There was an absolute massive lag fest there, and he's been spat to the back of the order, which is crucial because it means that we are going to be in a straight fight with him now. X O'Connor is only just ahead of us as well here as we go to the safety car restart, so we're not actually going to lose that many points at the moment to our championship rivals. We're all going to be fighting our way through the field, and this is going to be a very interesting Grand Prix. You can see here on the restart there was a little bit of confusion. The game lagged out a little bit, and has meant we've got two kind of groups. This group that we're in now has slightly fallen back from the main safety car restart, so we need to try and get past these AI drivers as soon as possible and catch up with the main pack if we want to score any points in this Grand Prix. You can see a nice restart. We've got a little bit of a run on Connor. We're not close enough though to have a dive into this corner. He goes wide through turn 1 though. Are we close enough to think about a dive into the next corner? No, we're not. He sent a huge dive on the inside there, makes contact, stops absolutely dead for some reason, and that is yet more front wing damage. I had no idea what was going on there. I think Connor must have missed his braking point or something, because there is no way that he is the kind of driver who would try and send that move deliberately. And I'm not entirely sure what happened with the game's contact system, to be honest, for him to just stop dead like that. But there's again nothing we can do about it now. We move and we are up into P16. Obviously not very helpful that it came at someone's expense, as there's an Alfa Romeo around there, and now that is P15 for us. So a dramatic safety car restart. We've got yet more front wing damage, but we're just going to have to get our head down, try and do the best we can. You can hear a massive confidence lift through there. No longer flat with this front wing damage. It's not like qualifying anymore, so the car is definitely hampered. Just ahead of us, it is side by side. Vivid's AI there absolutely punting Connor. We decide not to try and make the move though, because he is our teammate. Coming through here, absolute carnage. I've no idea what's going on. Connor's on the grass. We're overtaking a Williams. There was another car behind we've overtaken. Ranger is following us through as well, so this is getting very, very feisty here on lap number 4 for this British Grand Prix. And we are up into 12th place as we understeer like a cross-channel ferry there. We're going to try and send one up the inside of Vivid. We've not really got the move done, and there's a little bit of contact with his AI. We've spun him around there. No damage, no penalty somehow, despite the fact we've absolutely murdered him. But we are up into P11 now, just ahead of Ranger. We've got X O'Connor behind him as well. So us three in the championship now trying to do pretty much a last to first challenge in this race. Where can we get up to as we close up massively to the Alfa Romeo of Rec here? We're just going to send another move up the inside, and we are now into the points in this Grand Prix. And just up ahead, we've got I'm a Canadian and Haymaker. Those are going to be our next targets in this one as we aim to move up the field. Can we try and get a result like last time, maybe into the top 5? That is definitely going to be the aim in this Grand Prix, because at the minute we are not where we expect to be. As we come to the end of lap number 5, you can see just the pace we have, as well as Ranger behind us. We've closed up to Canadian already. He gets a bit of a bad exit through there, clattering that inside curb. We're having a look up the inside, but we back out of that one. Definitely not an overtaking place or a place you want to go side by side here. Canadian goes defensive, moves back across to the racing line. We're going to try and get a little bit of a cutback here. It doesn't work. He carries way too much speed in though. So into the next part of the corner, we go for the cutback. It looked like he was about to turn across us there, but he doesn't. We get a nice exit, and that is us up into P9. Nice little move there from us, a nice little battle and a position gained. We've got the 2 racing points up ahead of us now in Haymaker, and then the guy who absolutely murdered us on lap 1 in Jack. So hopefully we can get past these guys as soon as possible, because they are not quite up to the speed that we are in this race, and we definitely want to be clearing them and scoring as many points as possible for this championship fight. In the background, Ranger has managed to get past Canadian as well, so he's just following us through. Haymaker's gone incredibly wide there. It looks like he's trying to go to Bahrain for the next Grand Prix a week early, but he's back on the circuit now, but he's losing time. So hopefully through this SS section you can see just how much more confidence and grip we have through here. We can see who has been practicing more for this race, and off this corner we're going to use Rich Revs. We've got DRS, we've got ERS. We're going to go to the outside. Can we make this move stick? On the racing point, the Mercedes B team effectively, we're trying to hang it around the outside. Haymaker, to fairness, he does give us the space. We do battle with him. Jack comes into the pits, and that is 2 positions gained there in the space of 1 corner. We are up into P7 now, and just on the back of the AlphaTauri of Logan Josh. Can we try and get past him as well as this recovery drive continues in this Grand Prix? As we head on to lap number 7, you can see just how much pace we've got after the safety car restart. We've already made our way back into some pretty good point scoring positions. We've got Logan just ahead of us in that AlphaTauri, and just ahead of him on the road there you can see that is the Haas of our old friend Italian Sonic. Hopefully we can get past him in this one with a little bit less drama than earlier on in the season, for example. But we've got DRS down this straight now, and I was really surprised at this point to see just how much we were gaining on Logan through here. We're going to have a look around the outside. He jumps across the curb there, so we're going to cut back, and can we try and make this move? You see a little bit of a gap here, so we squirt the throttle, get the car in it, and we are up the inside. We get a nice exit off the corner. Using the ERS tactically there, overtake mode off the corner, it gives you such an acceleration boost, and that is us up comfortably now into P6. Next up the road we have Italian Sonic, our old friend in the Haas, having quite a good race to be fair by his standards, as Jeff there is just offering us an alternate strategy of pitting 1 lap later, so cheers for that, Jeff. Really made a massive difference in the world. But we're going to move on now. Can we try and get up to the back of Sonic as soon as possible? You see, using a lot of ERS and Rich Revs again, we've got a lot of it to burn, and around this track the ERS tends to last quite a while, so we're going to use a lot of it now to get ourselves back into a contending position in this race. And you can see already starting to reel in that Haas as we go a little bit wide there, still hampered by that front wing damage. If you look in the top left, you can see Ranger has basically just followed us through this entire race. He is in P8 all over the back of Logan and manages to get through. There's a bit of a yellow flag there, so I'm not sure whether there was contact or if Logan just made a mistake, because he has dropped behind Haymaker as well now. So we now have Ranger P7, Haymaker P8 behind us. But in front of us now, we're lining up Italian for an overtake. We're just within that 1 second. You can see the indication appear there on the screen that we're going to get DRS. We're going to punch away off the corner again. Using ERS like that off the slow speed corners in this game, it's the biggest tip I can give you. It gives you such an acceleration boost. But down this straight, it's not quite going to be enough. But Italian there missing the apex by an absolute country mile. We're going to try and hang it around the outside of this corner. Can we make it stick? We're going to get on the exit, and there's a little bit of contact there. We get pushed onto the gravel slightly by Sonic, so aggressive racing there. It was quite fair, to be honest. I'm not sure he intended to do that on purpose. But coming into the next corner, he lets us go, which is, very sporting of him. He didn't have to do that. But he lets us go, releases us into P5 in this race, and we're already back in the position we ended the last race in, just showing just how much speed we had in this one, and really compounding my disappointment that yet again we have been punted out of this race. And now we head on all the way to lap number 12. You can see we've tried to close down to B Dodo ahead of us, and we have got that gap down. We are going to come into the pits now for our first pit stop, but unfortunately we do elect here to change our front wing to try and get rid of some of the front wing damage that we got earlier. Now, in hindsight, maybe we could have got away with not doing that because we were still closing in on B Dodo, but my thoughts were with him going onto the soft tyres at the end potentially and us going onto the mediums, I'd want that extra pace because it was costing us somewhere in the region of half a second, maybe a lap, just through sheer understeer and not having the same mid-corner speed. So I decided to take the pain there. You can see it's about 6 seconds longer pit stop than normal. Maybe we could have got away with not doing the pit stop, but, you know, at this point it's a moot point because we've already done it. So we're into the pits, we're back down into P8 now, and we're just going to have to get our head down. Crucially, we are still going to come ahead of Ranger, which is very important, obviously, for the championship, to just gain points wherever possible on him, because he's such a quick driver. It's very, very rare that he has races like this, where he's so far down the field, but now we're just going to get our head down, and we went on an absolute charge at this point. You can see, fastest lap here. We come around the very next lap, another fastest lap. The next lap around, you guessed it, yet another fastest lap, and we're just pumping in these laps. We're closing up again to these guys, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. As we come to the end of the race, as predicted, the guys in front all fitted softs at the end and just ran away with it. We were pretty much on our own for the rest of the race, and that was quite a lonely P5 finish for us there. Obviously very disappointing after the pace we showed in qualifying. It could have been much better had we not been murdered on the first lap, but, you know, there's not much we can do about it now. We finished P5, full props. Chris gets, I believe, his first win of the season, so definitely good to see him back on form. Obviously, Evan there in P2 with B Dodo in P3. Disappointing race for us there, but we still gain on Ranger in the championship. And speaking of the championship, here you can see the driver standings. Ranger now only having a 13-point lead, so that gap has definitely come down in the last couple of races. Chris is up into second. We jump up into third, overtaking our teammate. It was very, very closely matched this season between me and X O'Connor. We've got B Dodo just a few points behind us as well, and Evan, like I mentioned in the last race, sort of the bottom at the minute of that top 6 drivers, that top tier of driver in this league, before we drop down into the very, very closely congested midfield. You can see Nab Cosplay in 7th, down to Token Abyss in 10th. That is separated by just 9 points. And I can tell you that kind of gap goes down even below the top 10. So very, very interesting to see how that is going to shape up as the season progresses, and who is going to come out best of the rest in the midfield, and what is going to go on in this championship fight. Obviously, we gained a few points on Ranger, but still at this point, we're still about 33 points back over an entire race win behind the current championship leader. So we're going to have to pull something pretty special out of the bag over the remaining races if we want to win our first championship here in Jgrl. As we go on to the constructors, though, you can see our first team championship is looking more and more likely. Already up on 231 points. That is a mega gap of 52 points now that we have over Williams in second. They are in a very close fight with Renault, who closed up massively with Chris's win here in that battle over P2, just 11 points separating them. A bit of a gap back to AlphaTauri and a little bit of no man's land, but they are starting to be caught by Ferrari now. Haydos Cheese has come into that Ferrari number 2 seat. He's definitely doing a good job there, and he's helping drag Ferrari back into the constructors' standings. Alfa Romeo in P6, and once again you can see it's a very tight midfield battle. Racing Point just a couple of points further back, and Red Bull, they're just 8 points off 6th place, so that's a very close battle between those 3 teams. Once again, McLaren on 28 points, sort of languishing in the middle of nowhere, and Haas currently bringing up the rear. Sonic basically doing everything on his own at the minute, hasn't had a teammate for most of this season, so that's very unfortunate for him. Hopefully that will change. But those are the championship standings, and this has been round number 10 of the Jgrl Esports season. If you have enjoyed this rather chaotic race, do make sure to leave a like on the video. I massively appreciate it. And before we go, I just want to ask one massive favour. If you are new around here, as I think about 60% of people who watch these videos apparently are, I would really, really appreciate it if you just smash that subscribe button below for me so you don't miss out on any of these videos, and you can keep up to date with the massive amount of Formula 1 content that we've got in the works for the next couple of months. We're putting a big drive on getting our real life Formula 1 content back out there, because I know you guys do enjoy that. So if that's the kind of thing you want to see, please do consider subscribing. But that has been it for today's video. Hopefully we can do a little bit better next time out for the Bahrain Grand Prix, but that remains to be seen. Hopefully I will see you in that one, but I have been xSmithyx. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.